Are you struggling to get out of bed every day? Feeling defeated, feeling strung out, feeling like you are super successful, got that job, built that business, only to show up and feel like you no longer know why you're there. Completely disconnected from your purpose, kind of having lost that fire in your belly for where you really wanted to go. And if that's you, then I am Jen, founder of Laughing Lotus Wellness, and I am a transformational purpose coach and expert. And what I do is work with people just like you who signed on to do this thing, had this map of life all planned out, had this career business planned out to show up, and then went, I'm not sure why I'm even here. I don't know what my purpose is. And what I do is help you reignite that fire, get back in touch with that sense of purpose and success. And what we do is work on clarity about what that means for you. And so that might mean that you stay where you are, and it might mean that you change lanes. And after years and years and years of being a clinical social worker, I know how important it is to step into places where we are expanding, right? Expanding ourselves. And so today, what we're going to be talking about live, which I'm super excited about, we're going to be following up on my vlog from earlier this week. We are this month talking all about how to expand ourselves, right, in our journeys. And so to me, expansion is like a lifelong journey. And what we're going to talk about this week is stepping beyond the comfort zone. And so this week I did a meditation, an insight timer. And what I did was I actually switched it up, which is really abnormal for me. Typically when I create a meditation, I'm like, and I created it and I sat back and I thought, it doesn't feel quite right. So I went back to the drawing board. And I have that other meditation in queue, but it wasn't the right one. And here's where I landed. And this is why I'm telling you this. I landed in this space of really kind of comparing moving beyond our comfort zones, almost like a childhood connection, which sounds really strange. But as kids, we don't think about failing as much. We don't have as many fears that get in the way of us stepping into our best version of ourselves. And so because we don't know that, we tend to be more risk-taking, and we tend to engage a lot more with a sense of like feeling kind of limitless and not being so fearful about what people are going to think or what they're going to say or, how it's going to end up. We just do things as kids. And so in my meditation, that's really where I took people this week, was like, let's talk about, remember those games we ever played? But I'll use baseball because I don't want to get too deep into the rules of a game, because then we're losing the whole notion of what I'm trying to get at today. But if you think about baseball is a great example. We're playing a game. There's this base we're on, right? So I've hit the ball. I'm at a base. It's my turn. So my teammate's up to bat, right? And I'm watching. And so the safety is in keeping my foot connected to that base, right? So the sense of us wanting to kind of keep a foot rooted in a camp that feels really secure to us. We're like, I don't really want to have to what if, right? But you'll watch, and in really great games, what they're doing is they're leading off. They're stepping off of that base to help elevate the likelihood of getting that run. And so I really want you to tap into this idea of how can I step outside of that comfort zone? How can I trust myself? How can I maybe even grab on to that idea, that childlike idea of like being less concerned about all of the outcomes? Like, I'm just going to do this, and it just is going to be what it's going to be, and it's going to turn out how it's going to turn out, right? And so there's something really transformative about expanding into a space where we can think that way. What I did do in the vlog this week that's really powerful, and so I really encourage you to go check that. It's all over social media. It's all over. So it's on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So if you look for it, it's expanded and it's beyond the comfort zone. And what I really want you to look for in there is a breathwork exercise that's going to fire you up. So it's actually like the opposite of calming, which is funny because almost all the things that I promote are really soothing and calming. However, there is a time and space for us to step into a new form of breathwork. And so I want to invite you to go over and check that out. I'm not going to go through it again because it's located in the vlog, so you can go check that out. I hope that you will. So I just want to share a quote by Mark Kane, and this is what he said. He said, "The first step towards success is taken when you refuse to be a captive of the environment in which you first find yourself." Okay, one more time, because it's good and it's short. The first step towards success is taken when you refuse to be a captive of the environment in which you first find yourself. So what he's really getting at is moving out of your comfort zone, right? We've talked a lot this month about taking up space, about outgrowing your container, about inviting in those experiences that are going to help you grow and be the best version of who you are. And so that's really kind of where I want to invite you to take this whole month, right? Is we're going to expand. We're moving into June. New content is coming. Next Monday is the last day of this month, and we're going to have one more vlog in this idea of expansion. Then we're moving on. So if you want any of that content, like I said, it's all over the place. I hope you'll find that. But here's another little reading that I thought was super cool. So I just want to share this with you guys as well. I mean, there could be a theme here. This says, get your wild on. Invite your inner child to play. Sometimes you just have to let your hair down and have some fun if you're stuck in a rut and can't figure out how to bust out. We were all children once. Somewhere deep inside you is the inner child you long ago forgot about. Invite him or her, they, out to play. Do what used to make you happy. Was it painting, kicking a soccer ball around, or dancing in front of a sliding glass door where you could see your image? Perhaps you were the kind of kid who just loved manipulating Play-Doh, calculating hopscotch squares, jumping rope, playing a musical instrument, or drawing for hours underneath a tree. Or maybe you were the type of kid who liked to climb. Find that child again. Afraid someone might see you, right? Right? There's all this thematic. You can see the symbolism here. Forget about it. Find an old hula hoop, put it around your waist, and start swerving in circles. Stretch out your arms, whirl and twirl. Close your eyes, peek out every now and again to avoid colliding with a bush or tree. I love this. Oh my God. Enjoy the movement. Feel young, feel renewed. It's exhilarating. So this was just from a book called How to Live with Intention. And I absolutely love embracing this concept of stepping into that childlike wonder and experience, because it taps into more bravery. And that's what we're going to be moving into on Monday. It's going to be like expansive, limitless courage. So next week is super fun and juicy. And so I can't wait to bring that material to you guys as well. But it's really inviting in that sense of like wonder and exploratory nature versus this really rooted, like, I want to stay safe, this idea. And so many of us, and myself included, have been in places where we kind of do what we know, or we do something because it's a responsibility. And so I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it's maybe not always moving us in the best direction for our highest good. And that's that next big dream, that next big goal, that next big step. I have a lot of people talk to me, you guys, from time to time. I'm amazed at how often people will say something about this, but how many people want to leave where they are in terms of a career. So many people will legit ask me, it's like, how can I get outside of this career? How do I move outside of this? How do I make a big transformation? How do I make this transition? And so again, sometimes that's really a sign that we're not aligned in our purpose, right? So that's kind of what I want people to take a look at. But this is a big question for people. How do I step outside of this? How do I move beyond this state that I feel like I'm on this safe base and I don't feel ready to move off of it? And it is about bravery. It is about some bravery, I tell you, and using your body. So when I say that using your body sounds really strange, I want to go back to the vlog this week. And thank you, Matt, so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. And Matt, if you have any questions about anything, about stepping beyond your comfort zone, I welcome in questions. That's really what we're doing here. These deep dives are actually an invitation for people to comment, throw out resources, and or ask me questions, because that's really way more fun. You guys know how I roll. And so I just want you to be thinking about your body is a big resource. And over time, we can kind of forget. We get very in our heads and we forget that our bodies are big tellers for us. And so the reason this week in that vlog, I threw out a breathwork exercise was to engage your body. Sometimes in Reiki, people will notice things in their bodies. And so it's interesting as you're doing energy work and shifts are happening. I had someone just notice this week. Someone said, oh, the energy was moving. I had a memory. So we went in reverse order. So what happened was we tapped into her internal subtle energy, right? We were working within the body system. And out popped a memory of something that she was like, that's kind of interesting that this thing came forward. And I'm like, that's the way that it works. So we can work in reverse order. We're so often worried about being in our minds and the thoughts are always running. And so we think that we need to drive every space with this, what's between our ears. And sometimes what we can do is actually have really expansive transformation by tapping into the body first, which sounds backwards, but I'm telling you, this is really powerful. And so it's neat to be doing Reiki sessions with people and watching them have these incredible breakthroughs where they're like, oh, that tapped into something, that tapped into a memory, it tapped into an idea, it drew up some inspiration. So our bodies are really powerful tools, as we want to be able to utilize that as well. I think that's so, so important. It's why I threw breathwork in there. And I will from time to time be throwing things in there that are actually really body related and energy related, so that you're having this visceral experience of something and not just the mind one. This is like the where we all kind of tend to go, like, I need a mantra, I need to think about something different, I need to make a different plan. We do a lot with our minds, right? And so I want to invite you into that, really like having a physical journey as well, because that will knock something loose sometimes in a way that all the thoughts in creation will not knock loose. So I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, so some thoughts for this week: tapping into that childlike wonder and energy, because it's huge. And they're not afraid. Their fear is so much less than adults. And so I want to invite you to go backwards in time and find a space. My meditation from this week is live in Insight Timer. And so if you want to go listen to that, that's all about tapping into this. So that is now accessible in Insight Timer. You can go find that. But I want you to tap into that childlike wonder and energy for yourself. So be really inventive and really willing to step into an adventure and kind of lead off, right? Stepping out of those comfort zones, those safe spaces. And here's what I'm going to tell you from years of working with people. This is really hard for people to hear sometimes. I know it is. It's going to piss somebody off. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Everything in life, you're going to choose, or it's going to choose you. You're going to choose it, or it's going to choose you. That is the way that life goes. So for 20 plus years working with clients in my office across the couch from me, this was a conversation I had almost all the time. And so in all of our decision making, we're either going to invite it in or it will choose us. And let me tell you my experience, okay? This is my wisdom talking. Take it for what it's worth. What I saw was that when people got chosen, like they weren't stepping into their own things, I said it's sort of like getting drugged behind a truck with your foot attached to a rope on the bumper on gravel. Okay? Unpleasant. Now, it doesn't mean we can't do it and we won't maneuver and we won't be okay in the end. But one of the things I really wanted to encourage my clients and my coaching clients into is like stepping into your own power. Moving beyond your comfort zone is within your power. Comfort zones are made up spaces we created between here and here to make us feel better. Okay. Things are we're always going to be changing. We're always going to be shaking things up. And it's really a matter of, do you want to step into it of your own volition, or do you want it to choose you? Okay. For example, right? We know, this is how I see the world. You do you. The universe is going to show up and give us teachers until we get it figured out. Guaranteed. Just talked to my daughter about it this morning. The universe will show up with lessons until we work it out. Okay. So let's just say I'm miserable in my job. This is just an example. Miserable in my job. We talked about it this morning when I opened, right? I'm miserable in my job. Don't feel purposeful. No longer love it. Don't feel connected, but I stay. It brings me an income. I'm paying the bills. And I have responsibility to this thing. Does this sound familiar to anybody? I'm just saying. We've all been there. I have been there. Okay. Mostly the responsibility piece. But we have these ideas and they're faux comfort zones. And they're things we tell ourselves between here and here. I have responsibility. It's paying my bills. And I'm not saying those are not facts, right? And then all of a sudden what happens is we lose our job. Right? We lose our job. So something like that can happen because when we're not engaging and empowering ourselves, that teacher is going to come in. The teacher is going to show up. It's going to be, how prepared do you want to be? And so that's kind of one of those examples of when you don't choose it, it will choose you. If you don't make shifts in your relationships, same deal. Don't take care of your spirituality and your spiritual health and your emotional health, it'll take care of you. What happens is our bodies get sick, our minds get sick, our souls feel sick. We will end up in places of feeling literally ill, right? So we're beginning to make, again, that connection to the body. There's this body energy that's happening at the same time as the rest of our journey is happening. And it's a matter of whether or not we're going to listen to it. Super informative, my friends. And so if we look at it backwards, so powerful. Okay. And so I really want you to be thinking about that, because it was one of the ways I tried to encourage people into some bravery, into stepping outside that comfort. And people will show up, and yet you're wired with your answers. You're wired with your answers. You're your own guru. People would show up and look to us as, guides and right, wanting our opinions and our advice and our, like direction. And some of that we can walk through with someone. But at the end of the day, you know your own solution. There's no one that can give that to you. Right. And so I'm a big fan of, like, how can I step into that solution for myself rather than waiting for somebody else to show up and pile it on me, right? In this powerless space, I get the ability to choose it for myself. And for me, I just think this is so freaking huge. And so I want to encourage you to think about it that way. That's just something that I took away from so many years of working with people, like just wanting them to take a step, even if it was wrong, because there's something powerful. One more time. Okay, there's something powerful about stepping into our own decision. There's something powerful and empowering about knowing we have our own fire and we have our own capacity to make decisions for ourselves. I really want you to look at that. I really want you to take up space. I really want you to expand. I really want you to not be afraid, right? That it might not work this time. It might not go just like you like. If I could list, right? If you really sat down and do yourself a solid, this is your homework. If you choose to accept, this is your mission. Sit down with yourself, list out the moments, do yourself a solid, list out yourself for the moments in your life you stepped outside your comfort zone. Let me give you a few. I'm just going to start your list for you. Are you listening? Got your pen and paper? Okay, here we go. Right? Has anybody out there gone to school? Has anybody engaged in, for example, maybe certifications, different retreats, learning experiences? Does anyone out there have a marriage or a partnership? Anybody? Relationships? Okay. How about children? Does anyone have children? Has anyone opened their own business? I'm a small business entrepreneur times 2, right? Has anyone done this? Anybody? Bueller? Okay. Here's the deal, friends. You were never guaranteed. You were never guaranteed success in any one of those things. And I could list about a million others. I mean, I could go on all day. Sit down for yourself. Write out the places where you went beyond your comfort zone. Where did you expand? We are not guaranteed success in any area of our life. None of us. It's all made up. We say those things to make ourselves feel better. And yet we do them. We did them on faith. We did them on trust, right? So this is where I want you to go, is that have you leaned in? Have you been sometimes maybe scared out of your wits and done it anyway? I've opened 2 businesses. This second one was super scary. I left the stability. I went off of that base, right? I left this clinical practice I created, right? I had following. I had people that came back. I was so blessed, but I left this certainty for the uncertainty because I knew that that's where I was being called. And this is not me toot my own horn, because if I said this like I'm amazing and it wasn't with so much angst, friends, it took me 4 or 5 freaking years to decide to do that. So this is not me bragging. This is not me bragging. This is me telling y'all, this is how it begins. This is how our journey begins, is with those kinds of steps. And I will guarantee you that you have stepped outside your comfort zone more than you ever know, where you asked to do a project at work you had no freaking idea how to do. Let me tell you something. In owning my own business, friends, I have created my own website. I do my own billing. I create my own ads. I market my stuff. I am literally doing all of the parts of a business on my own. Okay. I am in expansive freaking learning right now. I have been for months and months and months. Okay. And so what I want you to know is that you're doing more of this than you think. You are literally probably not giving yourself credit in the moments and the spaces where you did step outside of yourself, where you were like, I'm going to trust, I'm going to lean in, I'm going to do this thing. And well, I guess we'll see how it goes. That's me. My philosophy in life has been, I would rather try and fail than to regret. So I had 2 parents. My mom has actually passed away. But I had 2 parents, my dad's still with us, that I know regretted part of their journey. They were both very smart people, didn't go to college. That doesn't matter. This is not a judgment. I just know that both of them legitimately at different points in my life talked about regret. So if you're ever immersed in that, if you know anybody in your life who talked about regret, it really fired me the F up to get outside of that space, to be like, I don't want to live in that sort of energy. I would prefer to risk, step into it, fail, figure it out, do it again. I did not want to live with regret. To me, going beyond your comfort zone is inviting in that risk. And it's saying, I'm going to trust and put my faith into something bigger than myself. There's something out there supporting me, guiding me. I'm going to step into this as fully as I can. I'm going to give it my faith. And if it doesn't go, then it wasn't meant to go. And then I will do the next thing. And then after that, I will do the next thing. And then I'm going to take the next right step and the next right step after that. Okay. These are philosophies. These are sort of like mission statements. They're values, right? This is one of my values. One of my personal agreements in my life is give it a try, even if you might fail. And so that's where I want you to go this week. I really want you to step fully into that. Go check out the vlog with the breath work. Super great, subtle energy. We're going to talk more about that in depth next time. So come back and join me next Thursday live at noon. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Why are we talking subtle energy, Jen? And what the hell's a chakra? Trust me, I'll walk you through that next week on Thursday. I'm super excited to be talking a little bit more in depth about that. We're going to do a little exercise next Thursday. I'm super excited about. We're going to do that together. And so I really encourage you to listen to the vlog this week. Check out that breath work. Do that homework for yourself. Sit down and write out, where were moments that I stepped fully into something when I did not have a safety net? Where did I do it? Because I bet that you did. I bet you've done it over and over and over again. The times you were not assured safety, you were not assured of success, and you did it anyway, right? And so give that a try. Okay, friends, thank you so much for joining me. I am so grateful to spend time with you guys on Thursday, live at noon. This is where I'm going to be every week. Finally got YouTube and Facebook all lined up. Praise Jesus. It was a painful process. I'm so glad to be here. Finally got all my things aligned, all the stars aligned. Jesus. See, this is what I'm talking about, being your own entrepreneur, my friends. You just pave the trail. Sometimes with skinned knees and sometimes with grace. This was a skin and knees exercise for me. What I'm going to invite you to do, guys, is if you're new to YouTube or you're not following me on YouTube, I would love for you to go and subscribe. I'm building up following there, and I'm really excited to engage more there. So if you haven't, I would love for you to go over. I'd be so grateful for you to go and subscribe. And what I'm going to do is stay with you guys. So every single week, I'm going to be bringing in a new vlog, right? That's what I'm bringing to you guys. And I'm also going to bring a live chat of some variation. So you can show up on Thursdays. Tuesdays, the new information is always going to come out. Thursday, we're going to go live and we're going to talk about it. And so that's the space to bring your questions, your thoughts, your experiences, anything that you want to know about, bring that in with me. So that's where you can show up and join me. And I hope that you will. So I've got some new events coming up. I've got one biggie coming up. I'm not going to talk at length about that today and here, but I will have some information on my website. So for anybody that's interested, I will throw that on there so you can go and check that out. I'm only going to be hosting one thing for now. And so if you want to go check that event out, you can. But I look forward to seeing you guys next week again. Look for that new content Tuesday. That'll be live and up for you. You can always find that on all sorts of social and also my website for sure. And then, like I said, if you can, I would be so grateful if you subscribe to me in YouTube so that I can get moving and generating some energy up in that space and share some energy with the people in that form of social. That's a newer form for me. I have lots of stuff in my library, and I just haven't been doing my lives because I couldn't get it to work. So here we are, and I'm super excited. All right, friends, this is Jen, Laughing Lotus Wellness, signing off, supporting you on your path to purpose and hoping to see you next week back here. Have a beautiful, long, and extended weekend with your family and friends. Get out and do something glorious, and I will see you next time.